You are listening to the Get Global Network podcast of the Ask Avani Show. You can hear the show live on Saturdays at 3 p.m. in London, 9 a.m. Central Time in the U.S. on Sometro Radio, one of the original member stations of the Get Global Network.
The Ask Avani Show right here on Sometro Radio. Woo! Welcome back, people. I would like to say wherever you may be, good afternoon. Enjoy today's show because it's going to be fun. Yes, this is the UK Soul Queen Diva right here in the UK, London town to be exact. Yes, oh my goodness. Today's show topic, people. I had to do it. You know I'm a bit mischievous and I just wanted to have a bit of fun. It is called A New and Interesting Twist on a dating show you definitely won't want to miss. Naked Attraction, the Naked Dating Show. Would you go on a show like this to find love? Good afternoon and welcome to K Rose.
Good morning, good afternoon, Avani.
Now, I know you're curious to know why I wanted to do this show. I have to say to people that when I found out about this show, I first saw it on TV, and I must tell you, I was actually looking for something else when I came across it. And I thought, okay, at first I thought it was a spoof. You know when you see things and you think, oh, they're just messing about? But because it kept going to break, then I realised, no, this is a real show. This is a real show. I hadn't heard about this. It's called Naked Attraction. Just in case there's anyone out there, especially my US listeners and European listeners, you might think this is crazy. Trust me, it's a real show, okay? It truly exists. And we're, the key is in the word naked. Okay, so it's a dating show, but the contestants are naked. I repeat, naked. I just have to say, what do you think about it, Rose? I don't know. Have you ever heard of it?
Never. Let me start off by saying that. Never heard.
Oh.
And is this a UK show? Because I didn't go and find out anything. Is this a UK show? Yeah, this is a UK show, and I saw this, and I couldn't believe it, because obviously you've heard of things like Blind Date, and, there's all sorts of shows now, isn't there, for the dating thing that they put on TV. It's all supposed to be part of entertainment, but when I saw this, people, okay, I knew this was going to be hilarious, and I know that people don't believe me, but I have to say, it does exist, okay? I'm not sure if they'll be bringing it back for another season. I think it might have finished by now, but basically, I had to do the show, because I was just like, this is just too funny, and I know that if I mention this, the listeners are going to be like, okay, she can't just mention it in passing and not tell us more. So I thought, let me just do a whole show on this particular show and just dating in general, because it's coming up to Christmas, and I know that everyone, well, for those of you out there who are loved up and looking forward to spending time with your boo, then you don't care kind of thing. But for I have to say, and I know that my listeners over here in the UK will actually know about this, it's an unspoken rule. I think people over here know that, you see, we have Carnival. I told you about Carnival, haven't I, Caros? In August, it's like the last street party of the summer, and it's like a major street party kind of thing. Everybody knows about it. People come from far and wide. People come from all around the world sometimes just to go to Carnival. I mean, yeah, it gets a lot of bad press because lots of things happen, and sometimes it can be quite dangerous as well, because it's actually like, I think it's over 1 million people that converge on the streets of West London in August, at the end of August, for Carnival kind of thing. So as far as we know over here, and I'll say it again, it's an unspoken rule that Carnival is kind of like your last chance to find someone before the winter, before the cold weather sets in. Obviously, don't get me wrong, everyone's still going raving, clubbing, whatever, and you meet people that way, but that's like an open air party, so it's out in daylight, and obviously it goes on into the evening. So if you haven't found anyone by the end of Carnival, and I know my UK listeners are laughing, chances are you might not. Not saying definitely not, just might not. You might not find someone before the holiday to connect
yes.
with?
Yes, as a new partner. Right? So I'm thinking, okay, this is, I can see why over here they're like, okay, we'll just try anything now because, you know, this TV dating show. And yeah, as I say, the name is in the name, Naked Attraction. When I saw it, I was like, they're having a laugh. I mean, why? Whose idea was this? And I'm curious, do people think this is where TV's headed in the future, where people are just going to be so obsessed with getting attention that they'll just do absolutely anything? I have to say, just to let you guys know, it is full frontal nudity, obviously adult content. Okay, and the synopsis of the show is that it starts where some dates would normally end, naked. So singletons pick from a selection of naked people and then they go out. Do they still feel the chemistry with their clothes on? Hello?
Okay, so let me ask a question there, because that was the part, I guess, that is the interesting part. They go through a selection process.
Yes, process of elimination.
And it's purely a physical connection process.
Basically, yeah. Basically, they're looking at, you know, each other's bits to see if they would fancy that person. So basically, they show the genitalia first, and then they work their way up to showing them. Yeah, that's what they do. And, you know, sometimes you've got to see it. I died laughing. I was like, oh my God. What is wrong with these people, man? I just couldn't believe it. And then obviously, you know, they have them in a booth. So then they might concentrate on certain aspects of the person's anatomies, basically. And then obviously they start to show them like what they, you know, completely naked. They're just standing there in all their glory. And I'm just like, wow. I was like, no, listen, I don't know about UK roads, but I ain't going on no TV show like that.
Not even close. Not even when I was young. Not even close.
They're just out there. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, okay, because the contestants are naked in the booth, but the person looking for love is fully clothed at the beginning, along with the host. No. Hold on, wait. Along with the host, right? So the host and the person are looking, you know, they're basically dissecting other people's bodies, okay? And obviously the contestants don't speak unless they're spoken to, unless they're asked a question, kind of thing. And then after they've been whittled down to two, then the person who's looking for love, that person gets naked as well, so that the two that she's chosen or he's chosen get to see what they look like, basically. But still, I must stress this, the host is still fully clothed, because apparently she refused to get naked. Okay. And I'm just like, okay, you lot are good, because everyone's being filmed for this. And obviously this is a TV show, and I'm not being funny, but I mean, they have to realize this is being filmed. This is going to be out there in the ether forevermore, okay? So I was just like, okay, we have to talk about it, because I'm just like, this has definitely opened up a whole new genre. I have to say, is this so-called entertainment? And I'm like, okay, don't you think this is going to open up a Pandora's box of problems as well?
Well, I have many questions about this. But just as a beginning, because you're going to go through the process of the entire show, how many people do they start off with? Is it like the dating game used to be here in the United States, where they have 3 people, or how many people are we talking about?
Yeah, when I saw it, it was about 3 people, and I can't remember whether they have a format of whether they always start with a guy or always start with a girl looking at men, or vice versa. But obviously in this day and age, because most people now, you're not just attracted to one or the other, isn't it? So they had a lady on there who said that she liked men and women, so they had a selection of both for her. I think she chose a woman in the end, because when she was looking at one of the guys, she was looking at him and she was like, no, that's too big. That will break me in half. She's talking about his manhood. Yeah, she's talking about his manhood, and she's like, no, I know that'll break me in half. I don't think I'll go there.
What station is this on again?
This was over here in the UK. Like I said, people, I think it's finished now. It was on E4 channel. Where was it? Channel 28. I think it's channel 28. Obviously, it depends on what you're watching it on, because if you're on Sky or something like that, it might be a different channel. It might be a different number.
But is it a network, or is it just a show that's produced and they just syndicate it to network?
I think it's just a show, because I don't think that they're gonna be putting that out on a network thing of just back-to-back shows of this particular show. No, this was part of the TV schedule. Like I said, a couple of weeks ago I saw this, and I just burst out laughing. I think it's been on for quite a while, actually. I do think it's been on for a couple of months, but I hadn't seen it and I hadn't really heard about it. And I was like, what in the hell? And that's it. I tell you why. It's because I know you guys out there laughing and thinking, okay, she meant to watch that. No. Because if I meant to watch it, I would have told y'all.
Exactly. Basically, you would have said.
Yeah, I would have said, this is on, I'm going to watch it, and then I'll tell you what I think. But I didn't know it was on, and that's what it was. I was looking for Empire. I'd missed Empire, and I was like, oh no, I've missed it. But obviously, I forgot that I could do catch up. But I was going through all the channels, and I missed it. I think because Empire's on a Monday over here, and I was like, oh no, I missed it. But I couldn't remember whether it was on a Monday or a Tuesday, and I think it was a Tuesday when I was flicking through and trying to catch these and doing other stuff, and then I suddenly saw this, and I was like, what is that? Because when you first of all, I had the sound down because I was doing other stuff as well.
But that was interesting.
Yeah, and then my eyes caught it, and I think, why are these naked people on TV? Because sometimes you think, if you see it, you might think it's just a streaker or something, knew someone being stupid. But then I realised, no, they're talking. And then I realised, hold on, the host is clothed, and this person is chatting away, fully naked. And I'm like, what? and then I looked at it, and then I was like, oh my God, I have to talk about this. You guys know I'm mischievous already. I just had to do it. I was sitting there in disbelief, and then I just burst out laughing. I was just like, oh my God, these people are crazy, man. I mean, as we've talked about, we know there are loads of different dating shows that have been on the TV, and I'm sure there'll be loads more in the future. Things like Blind Date and Take Me Out and Dating in the Dark and The Millionaire Matchmaker, and I could go on and on. We can share a link to K-Rose so people can have a look and see, because there's loads of them, innit? You go online, and if you search online, you can find a list. A plethora, as they say, of all these different types of dating games. And some of them are really, really successful, because over here we loved Blind Date, and I think the other one, Take Me Out, was quite successful as well, kind of thing. But at least they kept their clothes on.
That's a good beginning, to do that, yeah.
I was like, damn, what is it with these people wanting to take their clothes off and just at the drop of a hat? And they are standing there looking at you. They're not even because obviously you've got to be confident in your own body to stand there and not be cringing and worrying about what other people are saying. I know my listeners think I am crazy, UK crazy chick. Yes, I am, but even I wouldn't do that. Why? No, I don't need to be showing my bits out like that. No, if they're gonna get to know me, I'm already juicelicious, K-Rose, so I don't need to take my clothes off to show you that. You can see that already. That you save for that special someone.
Well, but that's what I guess my opinion of this is. You're basically starting off, which, I understand that point that is being made. You're starting off where you end up, or you could possibly end up, put it that way. Yeah. But okay, is that supposed to make the conversation easier?
Well, they're trying to say. I bet you they're trying to say, okay, we're stripping away, literally and obviously, metaphorically speaking, we're stripping away any sort of hidden agendas or people trying to make out that they have more than what they have. So they're not going to be tricking anybody, right? I know you guys are out there creasing laughing, but I'm telling you. They're probably like, okay, if you start there and work your way back up, then you've got nothing to worry about of thinking about feeling insecure, because the person's already seen it, kind of thing.
Right.
They've seen everything that you've got, and if they still want to take it further, then obviously that means they are really genuinely game to get to know you, and it's not just wondering about what have you got under that dress or in them trousers or delete as appropriate. Because some people do, they do hide things, and they do exaggerate certain parts of their anatomy, shall we say. Certain Linford lunchbox comes to mind, but I don't think he was exaggerating his.
And I'm not even sure who that is, but I'm afraid to ask now. So
Linford Christie is, and what wasn't he? He's a UK sportsman, the sprinter, runner.
Oh, okay, I know who that is.
Yeah. So that's what they used to call it over here. Because the guys always wear the tight-fitting, spandex-style short stuff, when they're running. So people used to always be staring at his business, innit?
Oh, well, I didn't, but now that
I'm not saying saying you. But, you know, the media and that used to make a big deal out of the way he looked and his physique and everything, and because he was really fit, obviously, because he's a sportsman, he has to be fit. But they were always making a big deal out of the way he looked, and that's what they gave him the nickname Linford's Lunchbox. I'm sorry, people, I digress. But that's what I'm trying to say. Some people have been known to exaggerate said part of their anatomy. Okay? Trying to, because they think